Earnest in Gemini, earnest equating to low key the intuition that could go through different states, and inevitably as it goes to the physical world, of course it could get damaged and then healed, right? So, I guess then. So on a on a standard direct level, you could also call directly earnest is like, the subconscious, right? Because from that subconscious field, there's a conscious spark of an individual awareness, and that individual awareness is the intuition of you, and that intuition of you, it's trying to tap into your spiritual self. And like earnest is kind of like underneath, the rubble of, of peace and war, right? It's there, it's some inkling of intuition, and that intuition being in Gemini, that intuition is going to be your superpower, right? It's going to be like, it's Gemini is like very hands-on utilization type of things, like using the communication as a tool to dig your way into like, surface level career missions. That's Gemini, right? So using the intuition to kind of just kind of to quote unquote clear your name, end quote, because like you need the help of masculine Mercury Gemini to really like see what's up with like, where am I at, what's up with me, what's up with you, that's, and how could I like fix this stuff, that's, and like, and what's the opposite of like, the fixing, like why is like the advanced reason for like the destruction, right? Knowing that, like, oh, I know this, I know that, Gemini Mercury. So it's like knowing getting to know yourself spiritually, earnest in Gemini. And that Gemini is it's so like Aquarius, you could say, is the first house right now. Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. So Gemini is something of the fifth house, going towards the surface level solar system of the physical world, right? So within that fifth house, going outwardly, we're going to use that earnest in Gemini to create our changing character. Gemini fifth house, the changing character going outer, right? So the changing character going outer, that's gonna be displayed in the public world, of how our character is getting developed in many different niche ways. And I just cleared 25 minutes. I should have cleared it, a little bit earlier, but within that, it's like, and since we're coming out of a dark age where earnest was turned off in that dark age, and in this very particular threshold where it could be like more active, it's pretty much your intuition is just gonna get pretty much more boosted online, more comfortably, as the rules change that are geared towards the intuition, But since we're in a threshold, it's like there's still some tangly affairs, obviously, because within like within just shadow aspects are being undone, and some shadow aspects are rigid in how they're just used to a certain thing, So within that, and then like moon and sun in, moon in the ram, and then sun in the water bearer, kind of like getting the life force energy on how like, on how we like, on how we gather and cultivate and harvest, new emotions and pretty much a new metaphysical plumbing system. Aquarius, the water catcher, that's the plumbing system of like you, and like just kind of like checking that, seeing like, where's my esoteric plumbing system, Aquarius. So getting like, kind of working with that, sun working with that, working to generate life force energy, the sun. And obviously the sun is also like body intelligence too, right? Because the sun is like, it's your emotional cavern, right? So within that emotional cavern, the sun is like highlighting and digesting everything in the body. So it's the body intelligence. So it's a mix of, so the sun is its own form of intuition, and then the moon is just kind of like receiving all of what the sun is digesting automatically, and and where everything else is at. So the moon is kind of like a different, like, intuitive womb for all the other energies, and that intuitive womb is in, like, kind of like in the Aries section. So it's like being like feeling people is like, just feeling where they are in their own quote unquote war front of life, end quote, Aries, right? And sun is exalted in Aries. So seeing how, like, the paradox is, we need that, that extreme polarity of peace and war, because it develops the character in such a way where you could stand up for yourself. Sun and Mars, Aries, and wherever Aries is in your chart, that's where you have to learn, or where you could be natural and how to stand up for yourself. So that's a quick one. And and obviously, like, I need to manage the memory a little better, and seeing, like, and one planet doesn't have all the power, even though we think it does. See, that's where people unconsciously get caught up, like, unconsciously we are in this quote unquote tree of life and tree of quote unquote quote unquote death, end quote. We're always in that, but the thing is, we're unconscious to that, and it's about putting light into the unconscious, so then you could quote unquote initiate yourself, end quote. But it's also about remembering, because we could have already done that and forgot for a new reason, because new level, quote unquote, new levels, new devils, end quote, quote unquote, end quote, end quote. And within that boss could have made us on a different level, could have had a new different level of stasis, right? Because that's where we left off. You have the best life ever.